Hi, Janie. Slowing down. All right. I have it leaning the way, so that I'm here and I'm switching it a little bit. All right. My topic for today is the world, getting along with other people, other nations. Um, um, uh, so many nations are at war. Were at war, will be at war. They either are at war, will be again. Um, there's just no end. Um, one of the one of the important ideas is that we we have been everything. We fight with another nation, and chances are, not only did we live in that nation, but we were people of that nation. If you live enough lives, and most of us have, you will have been American, Indian, uh, Cambodian, French, African, um, Finlandish, Swedish, Russian. Um, think of it and realize you were probably it. Any nation to which you feel drawn in any way, or that you used to draw when you were a child, used to draw people in those outfits, you you were those people. Um, you probably don't feel like it because most of us don't realize that what is, and that we're born over and over and over again. Um, we just don't realize it. Every time we're born, we think we're new. We're not new. We are the culmination of every life we have lived. Our experiences, although we don't remember them because this is a separate life, those experiences have added to our, what is it, our vibration. I don't really know what it is. It's something about knowledge, but it's not knowing our experience in Germany or wherever. It's knowing not even what we learned, but it brings up something in our hearts, something in our souls. Um, our souls are not actually a place in our bodies. There I don't know how to identify it. It's not tangible. It's just how it is. But we have been, boy, oh boy, we've been everything. We've been Brazilian, we've been Peruvian, I mean, we've been everything everywhere, depending on how many lives you've had. But even if you've had only 25, think of it, those are 25 different nations in which you've lived. If you meditate, you will eventually get an idea of your lives, because what happens when you meditate is that you become more sensitive. And when you open a cabinet door, as I did, you realize, oh my God, I did this in Amsterdam. I was a maid in Amsterdam. You will see, and it'll come to you in a million different ways. I saw a name um, written on my very old um, PC screen, my computer screen. Freaked out. That was my name in another life. I thought, me? I was Irish? Huh? Well, I was. You don't have to know anything about people in that country. It's just how it is. Was I Egyptian? Well, I know I was. You know how? Because I used to love to draw them. You don't have to be an artist. It the information will come to you. But okay, there are lots and lots of pieces of this, and one of them is with us now. I do tend to carry grudges. I don't see any reason that we should forgive. Well, we don't have to. We absolutely do not have to forgive people at any time. It's not our responsibility. When people do wrong, it's their responsibility to correct themselves. We don't have to do it. Um, so, but the problem is that, well, really, there's no problem for us. If we've met toxic people and we decided, oh, we don't want to be bothered with them and we are never going to speak to them again, whether we see them or we don't, we're simply not interacting with them. Um, I had a weird experience, and like I said, I hold grudges. Uh, it's I don't see why I would. It doesn't to me. I don't know. If I know really what motivates the person who was toxic and hurt me, that helps a lot for me. I'm not sure what each person does or whether that's the key for anyone else. For me, that is. Um, I'm not religious in any way, so I don't see any. There's no answer for me in that. Um, Understanding is really good. So um, this is the story. I probably talked about it before. When I was 7, my parents moved from. We lived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the United States, and they moved from one area to another because it was closer to where they needed to be. My mother was a nervous driver. She needed to be in a place where she could drive less. Okay. But they moved into a very inappropriate place. Uh, you, if you move, if you are an educated person and you move into a neighborhood where most of the people can't read, they're going to hate your guts. You say, well, why would they hate my guts? Maybe I could read to them. No, they most a lot of people are resentful. They'll be resentful of your education, um, and I don't know what, but it's part of a lot of people's human nature. So that's what they did. Not that the people couldn't read, but they were pretty ignorant, and they were a problem for my brother and I. So and the man next door. Well, it does. I guess what I want to say is we're raised by our parents. So if our parents are bigots, it's really hard to come back from that. You have not that you should just say, "Oh, well, okay, I'm a bigot, so that's what it is." No, and I understand. We all grow up in an area. We all, by osmosis, we just soak it up. So if we're raised in an area that's all German, like German, and everybody is Lutheran or something. They're Lutheran, and Hindus move in. They're just nobody. They're not bothering anybody, but they're different. They're practicing a different religion, and so Joe Blow, who isn't a real person, is the son of one of these German Lutherans, and his parents are real bigots. And they tell him, oh, it's Hindus and blah, blah, blah. And they call him names and stuff. And so Joe Blow grows up believing it. What's his responsibility? To fight it. We grow up learning this crap from other people, and it's our responsibility. Nobody's going to, like that, change your attitudes. You have to work on it. You might wish it would change like that, but it won't because it's not reality. You just have to change it yourself. Hopefully, that child would have gone over to the child of the Hindus and would have said, "What do you do?" And the Hindu child would have said, "Oh, we do this and this and this." And the German child would have said, "Oh, we do this and this and that." And they could have played together and then learned as they got older that their differences were fun. See, that's the thing. Diversity is fun. We really enjoy other people being different. If we are straight with ourselves, we learn that. And even if we can't be the way they are, we enjoy them being the way they are. That's really important. And it when we realize that, it and if we learn it will live again, that information that we have raised our whatever they call it in ourselves by having learned that, and in our next lifetime we don't have to learn it again. We understand it. If we're hit with prejudice, bigotry, we kind of know what to do. Okay. um, Putin didn't try to take over Ukraine because whatever garbage he said. That's him. He is he's not a good man. What can I say? He's just not, he's not there are bad people and they're here for supposedly they're here to make us aware of things not always being rosy. I'm not sure. I'm not God and I'm not Buddha. I can't tell you why there are mean, rotten, toxic people. He's one of them. And apparently, or possibly, he has taken his freedom of choice and lived longer than he normally would, or he's worse than he normally would because we have free will. Um, my way of looking at it is that he started a war with Ukraine to take their country over. At one time, Ukraine was part of Russia. Um, so many countries were owned by other countries, and when you look at history, you say, "What? The Germans owned Italy? That's incredible!" And it sounds like that just doesn't even sound possible. Why would that be? I don't know why it would be. Their army was stronger. Whatever, it's craziness, but and all of these wars are crazy. um, when we have a lot of terrorists in the world. One of the worst problems we have are terrorists, and they're all over. There isn't just one branch. There's ISIS, and there's, I forget what the ones are called in Africa, and they periodically attack people in Nigeria. I have a lot of Nigerian DNA, and well, I watch. One of the things you'll notice is if you watch certain countries' current events, you do it because part of you is from there. You were from there. I have to get a drink. I'm so sorry. I like mineral water. I love this Okay. Um, okay. Anyway, there are a lot of terrorists. They will stand behind children. They will make tunnels like Hamas people do under schoolyards, hospitals. It's horrific. That's why they're called terrorists. It's a really, I hope you can hear me. Um, it is a horrible thing, and it's not new. The revolutionaries during the American Revolutionary War, were, there were a lot of terrorists on the American side, not the British side. Part of why we won was that um, there's a lot of bad stuff in the world, and at the same time there's good stuff in the world, and actually there's more good stuff at this point in our history. Um, as bad as it is, there are more people succeeding. Of course, there are more people too. Um, I don't know. There's so much to talk about when we talk about the world. Good stuff, bad stuff. Right now, we've got Trump, who may or may not take over. Apparently, he seems as though he will, and that tells you that there are a lot of hateful people here. Um, People who don't want a woman, who don't want a woman of color, who who took on the attitudes of their parents without question, because that's not new. That's old. That comes from slavery. We're talking hundreds of years of unquestioned hate. Okay. You probably know what I'm talking about, and I don't want to keep on, just saying what it is. I want to hurry up a little bit because I did fall, and yes, I'm old, and um, when we get older, understand we don't have that, where our balance is generally not great, and we can fall, and when we fall, it's dangerous. So if you have a grandmother or a parent, or you yourself are older, be careful. If you have a grandmother, hold her arm and keep her walking, without falling down, because I think that, well, I hurt myself. I broke my shoulder one last year, and walked around for a couple months, not knowing it was broken. And I don't know what I broke this time. It just hurts. So, and I can't bend down. So I've got somebody coming to do a job for me, and she's bringing her puppy. My dog is visiting with my daughter, and she's a big dog, and I can't take care of her the way she needs to be cared for. She's got cancer. So, um, this video has nothing to do with animals. It's just that I'm going to get to pet a puppy in a little while, and I want to make sure that I'm off the internet if I can. If you have any questions, no, they're not visible. Oh, okay. Hola. Oh, my granddaughter was speaking Espanol. Con me. I don't know how to say me. Con. Mm, mm, mm. She's doing it yesterday. Um, she's learning Espanol in estudiar. I don't know. Like I did have Spanish in school, and so she was. Boy, her accent was really really good. Maybe because she's young. I don't know. She's not quite 8, and so it was great. And she sent me home with a Christmas tree because I don't have one, and she felt grandma has to have one. So she's got Christmas. She has a big Christmas tree, and then she has little Christmas trees in her playroom. That's so cute. So she gave me one and gave me the decorations, and we tried to get them on the tree, but I have to do special stuff, and I will go downstairs and do that. Again, if you have any questions, please write to me either here or at SpiritsbyJaynee on gmail.com. I can reach any spirit. And if you're a person who has lost a loved one to addiction, I do that free. That's one of the things that I feel strongly about. And, while I charge $80 for a reading, it doesn't have to be if you can't afford it. I'm okay with whatever you can afford. I'm not, I'm retired, and 77, I will be okay. So I do terrific readings. I don't mean to advertise for myself really, but I do because I can bring any spirit to you and can tell you pretty much how something's going to turn out according to the energy today. And what else? Oh, your past lives. They just come out. It's not, you know, I, it's just how it is. I'm sorry it costs so much, but it doesn't have to. It's like if you want it, I can do it. Not a big deal. I should have my website up. I think it's done. Uh, People did it, and I think it's done. Um, Again, for questions, it's um, SpiritsbyJaynee at gmail.com. And oh, I know I forgot a whole thing. Um, Recently, I had an opportunity to talk to the child of my parents' next door neighbor. The the father was really, really ignorant, more like somebody from 1930 than somebody from 1963, which is when it was. And the kid, when he was growing up, was from his parents. And his parents, when my parents asked him, said, boys will be boys. They just weren't responsible. They were ignorant people. Um, and so I had an opportunity to say something because this guy had always been sarcastic, like, oh, hi, Jane. I'm so glad to talk to you. Meantime, he hates my guts. So I had this opportunity to talk to him, and I took it and I said about how his father really it wasn't his mother, it was his father was, and that I don't blame him, um, and how traumatic it is to be a kid and grow up with adults being nasty and awful to you. When you're a kid, you're like 5. My brother was 5. No, he was younger, 2. And these people were saying nasty things. It's really crazy. So, what's my point? One of the things is trauma never goes away. When you have these really awful things happen, generally it can be pushed down, and you can become an overeater or goodness knows. Um, but trauma is something. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. It doesn't go away. And so I was talking about that, and this young woman was saying, "Oh, why did you bring this up on here?" I tried to tell her, listen, this was 1963 to 1960. Oh, no, it was 55 to 63. We're talking a long, long time ago. And it's not, I know it's not your time and it's not even for you. Um, this is me now. And basically, I tried to make it, how do I say, understandable for her. Sometimes you have to under, better for you to speak up. Okay, that's probably what I mean to say. Do whatever you have to do to keep yourself loving yourself. Don't push things down. If you hurt, say something. Take care of yourself. You can't take care of other people. You can't fix them. You can't. And while you can't go back and change the past for yourself, um, do what you can. Try to help yourself to overcome bigotry and learn to enjoy the differences in people. Again, it's SpiritsbyJaynee at gmail.com and here. So thank you so much for listening, for visiting me. And this is fun. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Happy Sunday. Good night. And let me see if I can turn it off.